the Marshall City Council to order with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You're wearing your heels.
I'd like to welcome everyone here this evening. We do have an agenda before us. Are there any changes to that agenda? If not, we'll operate under that agenda. The first item then would be to consider the approval of the minutes of the meetings that were held on July 22nd. The council does have the minutes of those meetings. Are there any corrections to note? If not,
I'll make a motion to approve.
motion by Amanda,
Second.
seconded by John to approve the minutes as they have been presented. We'll move to a vote. Okay.
Troubles?
No pressure, Bob.
Right.
Want to use mine?
Stephen, I need,
Hey, there it is.
voting tab.
You voted.
No, that should be.
I think you voted.
No, this isn't that.
Does he get to vote on this one?
Voted.
Oh, okay. And the motion does pass. Apologize for the delay there. So that motion does pass. The minutes are approved. We'll move to agenda item number 2. This is to consider authorization of the roof replacement at Independence Park. I'll call on Preston Stensrud from our Parks Department to present this agenda item.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The action before you is for the concession bathroom building over by the baseball fields at Independence Park. It is in the budget for 2025 for full replacement of that roof. It's wood shakes and the soffit is also rotting. The shakes would be original to the building, I believe, in 1990. We did solicit quotes. I reached out to 4 contractors. 2 gave pricing, and I'd recommend moving forward with the low of James Lazinski Construction for the $5,325. That's the labor pricing. We would buy the material from a local vendor, and then him and his crew would put it on. And of course, due to him being a council member, I think this takes a special resolution and then a unanimous vote to approve to move forward. Hence why it's come to the council for that reason. Otherwise, it'd be below where Sharon would be able to approve it. But like I said, it is budgeted, it's below budget, and we're trying to replace a roof a year on all of our buildings, and this is the next one up. And of course, used heavily all season long and for baseball tournaments and stuff like that. So not only a structural issue, but then an appearance issue also. So.
Okay. Thank you, Preston. Sharon, or I don't know if you or the attorney online want to make any comments about the proper procedure that we are following that does allow us to accept the low quotes, and also recognizing that the low quote is a sitting council member.
Yeah, we did review this with Attorney Pam Whitmore, who's not available tonight due to some sickness, but we do have Makaya, who is online, and she also did review this. Preston explained some of it. We need a unanimous vote. We do have a declaration affidavit from Councilmember Lazinski stating the conflict. It is underneath the competitive laws, the bidding laws, so if the council approves this unanimously, it meets the intent of the law.
And Makaya, attorney, do you have any additional comments? That was a good explanation, but do you have any additional comments you want to make?
No, that was a good explanation. The only thing I will offer is that the council member that has a conflict, just generally moving forward, should not participate in any discussions or votes on this matter. Of course, the council member in question tonight is not here at the meeting, so that should not be an issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, does council have any questions?
I move we approve the authorization of the resolution and award the contract for James Lozinski Construction.
I'll second that.
Motion by Craig, seconded by Amanda. Discussion? If there's no discussion, we'll move to a vote. We'll close the voting. And the motion does pass unanimously.
Thank you.
We'll move then to the consent agenda. We'll bring the items up on the screen that are on the consent agenda. And they include consider the approval of a raffle permit for SMSU Foundation, consider the approval of a raffle permit for Holy Redeemer Church, consider the approval of a temporary liquor license for the Marshall Area Chamber of Commerce, consider approval to declare 2 vehicles as surplus for the Marshall Police Department, the introducing an ordinance amending the licensing and registration requirements for the sale of intoxicating cannabinoid products, consider the liability coverage, the waiver of the 2025-2026 League of Minnesota Cities Insurance Trust Property Casualty and Liability Insurance, consider the quote for auditing services for the years that will end 2025, 2026, and 2027, consider the approval of the consent for Clarity Telecom, Blue Peak, for the proposed pro forma asset transfer, and then finally consider the approval of the bills and the project payments. Is there any item on the consent agenda any member of the council wants removed for purposes of separate discussion?
I move approval of the consent agenda.
Motion,
Second.
motion by Craig, seconded by Amanda. Discussion? If not, we'll move to a vote. We'll close the voting. And the motion passes. We'll move then to agenda item number 12. This is the Tallgrass Liquor Annual Report. With us tonight is Tallgrass Liquor Manager Eric Luther to present this report. Did we just?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council members. My name is Eric Luther, Liquor Operations Manager at Tallgrass Liquor. For some of you, this might be your first time hearing the state of the Tallgrass Liquor Operations Report, while others have heard me present for several years, so that's good. Please feel free to ask questions at the end of the presentation, or if you have suggestions, see myself or EJ and we'll consider them. So, just going to kind of tell you a little bit about our operation here. Marshall Municipal Liquor Store has been in operation since 1934. The current liquor store is located at 1410 Boyer Drive and has been operating at this location since November of 2016. To this day, the profits from this liquor store provide a much-needed revenue source for the Marshall community, which we'll explain a little bit later. Profits from the municipal liquor store also help reduce the property tax levy and provide funds for special projects. So you can kind of see the organizational chart. We've got 5 full-time associates, including myself as the manager. We did add a full-time associate back in April of 2024, which would be kind of in the mix of this report here. Al Basut has picked up the role in a full-time associate position, and so we welcome him. We also have 13 part-time clerks that covers a lot of the evening shifts and also the weekend and Sunday shifts. So we've got roughly around 17 people employed. As we've kind of looked at the mission of Tallgrass Liquor, we're designed to control the sale of intoxicating beverages, which would include now THC, but providing the best quality shopping experience for our customers and at a profit that is reinvested back into the community, and also providing an environment that is positive for customers, associates, and managers. So our store priorities are working clean and safe, store tours by all staff to identify areas for improvement throughout the shift, friendly and helpful service to all customers and coworkers, keeping all areas of the store organized, stocked, and faced. So as we go into the sales and profits of 2024, overall sales of the liquor operation were $7,418,000, roughly $600, with income before transfers of $1.224 million. This is an increase of sales by $42,547, and income before transfers increasing about $86,000 when compared to 2023. Strategic purchasing, along with the focus on product costs and pricing, have contributed to a consistent higher gross profit for 2024, pushing more dollars to the bottom line. While at this time, Tallgrass has also continued to support best-in-class customer service with the store offering competitive pricing, value, and selection to all our customers. You kind of see the sales history as we've looked at the last 5 years. 2020, we had the COVID-19 year. We were trending probably, under $6 million, and that shot up well over $6.8 million. 2021, we kind of did a backwards step because we saw a lot of increased sales in 2020 because of people in their homes and hosting parties rather than going out during that COVID year. In 2022, rebounded considerably, over $7 million, and 2023 and 24. And so we're approaching about 7.5 million, which is good to see some increases there. You can kind of see the transfers before income before transfers history and stuff. We've always been a real, I think I've always done a nice job with transferring and doing a profit that goes back to the city for, decreasing your property taxes for all community members and also special projects. So we've seen actually a nice increase there. Going on to the next table, sales and gross profit by category. You kind of see we have our total sales, and then it's divided in between 5 categories: beer, spirits, wine, and now THC, and mix and miscellaneous, which would be your mixers and pop and things like that. You look at beer as the biggest piece of the pie. Sales account for about 43% of total sales, with spirits following a close second here with 38%. Kind of see that wine out of the top 3 is right there, 13%, where THC has grown considerably over this 2024 period, and we're up about 4%. Looking at THC currently, we're trending around 5 to 6% range of sales, so it's actually gone up a little bit more. So this is an increasing category to keep an eye on. So gross profit, as I've talked about, we've had a nice gross profit margin of 30.1%, while we're also offering the great value and specials and all the things for our customers. But you can kind of see gross profit for beer, highest in sales dollars on the top graph there, is actually the lowest in gross profit dollars. And so our beer companies are seeming to make a lot of money, and we have to kind of adjust our price up incrementally to kind of cover that, but it's not as much as our other categories like spirits, wine, and then you kind of see all THC. Obviously, that's the 4% of our sales in 2024. It's actually one of the highest contributors to our gross profit, probably the reason why we had a really good year as we finished 2024. So that's a little bit of the gross profit piece. Go into the next slide, transfers. Again, I kind of touched upon this a little bit earlier. We earmarked $400,000 and $200,000 debt service for City Hall in this building. The general fund gets $400,000 or has been looked at as far as putting that money back into the general fund to decrease general property tax, and that's in 2024. Monthly sales, our next slide here. The trend, summer is busy. You can kind of see the middle, May through August. tends to be pretty steady, pretty busy. And then we get into the holiday timeframe of November, December, where we have a big spike in sales for that holiday timeframe. And so we're busy all the time, but again, there's certain peaks, those are what I've just mentioned. January and February tend to be a little bit less, as you can kind of see. People are New Year's resolutions, maybe drinking a little bit less, starting the year healthier, talking healthier, and that. So reason we kind of see a little bit of a dip there and that. So that's the monthly sales comparison. Trends, again, ready-to-drink cocktails continue to sell well. Vodka-based seltzers and cocktails like Carbless, Fresca, High Noon, and some of the other ones lead the ready-to-drink category. Craft beer continues to be, that's brewed in Minnesota, continues to be very strong with brands like Grain Belt Premium, Third Street Brewing, Shell, Surly, Brau Brothers, and Talking Waters were all popular with customers. Sales of non-alcoholic beer, non-alcoholic wine continue to grow. Trends suggest that people are drinking less, and so we've seen a lot more. And if you ever go into the store, you can kind of see a lot of different brands of non-alcoholic beer, and then spirits and also wine. And so that's a growing category too. Domestic super premium beer and wine sales decreased slightly, giving that somewhat to the liquor sales category. We've seen liquor spirits increase in our store's product mix. So on to events and online ordering. Again, we do lots of sampling events in store to drive sales and trial over all these categories. We host several in-store tasting events, which we've got some coming up here this fall called the Fall Wine Walkabout, and then 'Tis the Season Holiday Sampling Event. And then we also have the Bourbon Whiskey Tasting Experience also in September, which is Bourbon Heritage Month. All events are promoted in activation of the products and brands that we sample. So hopefully get trial and people will buy them. So we also do a bigger event in May, which is co-sponsored by the Red Baron Arena and the Visit Marshall, where we host the Made in Minnesota Craft Beer Festival. We have 37 vendors and around 400 attendees that come to sample craft breweries and wineries across the state. This event continues to introduce new types of craft beer and wine to others, to all customers. And then one thing that we'll probably raise up tonight, City Hive's Tallgrass Liquor Online ordering platform continues to gain users and build awareness in 2024 and again in 2025, as we're seeing that too. Customers can order online. You can get kind of a landing page there of a lot of different products. You can search on that website. It has kind of Amazon features for searching. People can pre-shop our website to see what we have and then come and visit us at the store, or they can order online for curbside pickup, or come in store to pick up the order if they need it. So we use this for different other events, special events like the Prairie Jam for suite holders there, and then also for SMSU home football games. So it's a very good, clean system, reasonable amount of not real costly when you kind of look at the whole scheme of things, but you get a really good, presentable product selection that you can base some decisions on. And so again, it's a great pre-shopping type of tool that can be used for customers before they come in. The other thing, and maybe you can flip to the, it's called FindMyLiquor.com, which is another app. Our organization called the Minnesota Municipal Beverage Association, and our stores that are currently on here, there's about 40 stores that are on this here. So I'll kind of give you a little tutorial here. Well, there's 40 stores, and you can go ahead and pick your store, and you can see what they have. Or if I want to look at their store, I can see their pricing, I can see what they have, And if a customer is looking for a certain item, I can say, hey, well, Redwood, or Granite Falls, or whoever that's closest to us can kind of look at that. I can point them to the right direction to kind of keep it into our Minnesota Beverage Association store group. So this is kind of a fun thing to kind of compare what other stores are carrying in our Municipal Beverage Association system. And it also can kind of gets customers also to see if they're traveling in the area or going east or west or north or south, they could maybe stop in one of the stores that's on this app to kind of look at what they have in their store. So that's a nice feature there. Community service support, again, we're involved with a wide variety of different local types of events. We also are a partner in the MMBA Community Value Program, which helps raise money for firemen and the local fire departments, the Community Food Shelf, and then the Adopt a Pet and Animal Drive. So there's some good organizations to help fundraise for, along with all the other things that we do here too. So accomplishments, we attend, manager and the full-time associates attend the Municipal Beverage Association annual conference. The regional meetings, we try to attend all those. And Tallgrass Liquor was named one of the 100 top retailers in the United States by Beverage Dynamics, which is it's a national it's a national honor. So it isn't in that. So in 24 we got recognized, and then again in 2025 was just out to Annapolis here in June, and we got recognized again. So great conference, lots of ideas, lots of takeaways to bring back to our store to help move us, continue to move us to the next level. The other thing, I was in front of you here probably last fall. We launched 4 branded beers. 3 were for the city of Marshall and Marshall Community Focus Beers. And the 4th was a collaboration with SMSU. All have been popular with our customers. So people are looking for those branded, are looking for those kind of unique beers and stuff. And we branded, or we partnered with Brau Brothers and got those off the ground back in the fall. All right, so semi-annual review, where we're at here as we get into 2025. You can kind of see the next slide here, sales. We're at about a 4% decrease in sales as we moved at the end of June 2025. Customer count is off a little bit too, and average ticket. First half of 2025 has been a little slower compared to 2024, according to this chart here. Good news, July rebounded with a larger increase in sales over 2024, and August has gotten off to a great start to close the gap. So currently we're around 2% down in sales, so we've made up a little bit here as we get. And again, hopefully, holiday season and so on coming around the corner, and students coming back to SMSU and all the things there, it's a good thing. So don't worry. So as we kind of look at the proposed 2026 budget, we've kind of taken the approach to kind of be more conservative from 2025, just as we've seen a little bit of the sales being where they're at right now. Cost of goods estimates are 5.9% decrease in 2025. Currently, we're about 4%, as I mentioned, off of sales from 2024. We're just taking a little bit more conservative approach as we look at future sales. Gross profit is targeted around 29% for 2026. As we look at the year, we look at monthly report and analysis and give those attention to product costs and strategic purchasing, and those things will help us ensure we are on track to hit this gross profit goal. A video surveillance upgrade or reconfiguration may be considered in closing months or in the coming months here. That's another factor that we always have to kind of watch with retail businesses and stuff. People are doing some things there that they shouldn't be. And so we're trying to get a system, get a little better system, or more crisp and clear system that can kind of let us look at that area a little bit more and also be more conservative and be better use of our time. Right now, it takes some time to go through and watch things, so hoping to upgrade that too. So we continue to see the benefits of prior investments with a freestanding FM 50 mil merchandiser, as well as 4 self-serve open-air coolers, displaying and purchasing for single cans of THC, sodas, seltzers, cold wine, and ready-to-drink cocktails. All these investments promote add-on sales and higher gross profits, which kind of you see kind of the results in having higher gross profit as we've over the last several years. So I think that's a good thing to think about there. So in closing, Tallgrass Liquor continues to be a destination liquor store for customers in Southwest Minnesota. I see customers traveling from 30 to 45 miles around Marshall to shop here. Customers often comment and ask, is this a municipal liquor store? They are kind of blown away by our shopping experience at Tallgrass. And our staff probably also has the most contact with the citizens of Marshall than any other departments within the city when they visit our store, which is another benefit for our city. So if you have any questions, I'd like to thank you. I think I've talked long enough.
Thank you, Eric. EJ, anything you wanted to add as supervisor of the department? No.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, thank you, Eric, not only for your presentation, but more importantly for the excellent job that you do in managing the operations. Both you and your staff are really to be commended. Questions for Eric or any comments?
Just one comment that I had. We recently worked with Eric and his staff on an event that we had, and I just want to say that the quality of our folks there and the operation is very commendable, and they're very, very nice to work with, and we really appreciate them.
So, thank you, Eric.
All right, thank you.
We'll move then to agenda item number 13. This is to consider the adoption of the ordinance for the request to rezone property located at 201 Legion Field Road from a R1 low-density resident district to a R4 higher-density multiple-family resident district. I'll call on Ilya Gutman.
Thank you, Mayor Council. So this is a request by the City of Marshall, which owns this area, to rezone it from R1 low-density residential district to R4 high-density residential district. The purpose of that is potential future development. Current comprehensive plan shows this as a high-density use, so the rezoning is in line with the new comprehensive plan. It went through the Planning Commission for public hearing, and it was introduced to the previous City Council meeting. So recommendation is to approve it.
Okay, thank you, Ilya. Any input from the Planning Commission, Amanda?
There was one couple there. They live on 10th Street, so Legion Field Road turns into 10th Street, and they are concerned about more traffic. Unfortunately, with that area, there's a lot going on, and I'm sure they are seeing more and more. But there wasn't really any concern from Planning Commission. They do agree that it fits well with the comprehensive plan, and it does make sense.
Okay. Any questions for Ilya?
Just a comment too, going along with what Amanda said about Planning Commission. Previously, a couple of years back, when we had a similar request for some rezoning and for the current apartments that are there, there was concern about the traffic, and I don't believe we've had an issue with that as far as, concerns. I've heard nothing, and it's certainly in my ward about concerns about traffic. So it is duly noted, but I think that it's pretty manageable all the way through based on, the other routes that are there, and, it's kind of community-wide. We're seeing a lot of activity, and I think that's a good thing.
Okay. Any other input? If not, you have the recommendation from the department as well as the Planning Commission. I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Amanda, seconded by Craig. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. We'll close the voting. And the motion does pass. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move then to agenda item number 14, the bituminous overlay on various city streets. We have the final change order to consider, as well as the final pay request. I'll call on Jason Anderson, Director of Public Works, City Engineer.
Thank you, Mayor. On March 11th, the council awarded this contract to Central Specialties out of Alexandria. Project base amount was $464,044.96. They've since come to town and completed the work. At that March meeting, the council also authorized the addition of the alternate streets into the contract. So you'll note that the final contract amount is in excess of that base amount by around $50,000. So the final change order, which is the reconciling change order for final quantities, is in the packet, as well as the final payment. The final contract amount was $511,923.33. Staff would recommend approval of the reconciling change order and the final payment.
Okay, thank you, Jason. Questions? You want to make a comment of the timeliness of the work, and there were some weather challenges that the contractor had.
Sure, yeah, it was nice to see them come in and do the work a little earlier in the year. They did a pretty nice job. I think there was a couple streets that the work maybe took a little bit longer to get paved, but they did a nice job, and we appreciated having them come do it.
Very good. If there's no questions, I'd entertain a motion.
I move approval.
Second.
Second, motion by Craig, seconded by John. Discussion? If not, we'll move to a vote. I'll close the voting. And the motion passes. We'll move then to agenda item number 15, Commission Board Liaison Reports. Craig?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Airport Commission met, update, and I know Jason will probably touch on this also, but the ILS project progress continues. I think they're hoping to have it verified yet this summer by MnDOT Aeronautics. And also the good news, and Jason, I won't steal your thunder too hard on this, just that I know you're going to mention that we did get positive response from MnDOT on a grant application for the tank farm replacement, which has been a big concern with PI&T on how to balance that in our capital projects piece and how hard we lobby for that. So this is a real opportunity that I know Jason will touch on at some point, and it'll be a future agenda item that we'll be considering. And then I see you probably want to talk more about this too. We did meet at the Aquatic Center, our group, and to look at the progress. And I haven't been by there the last few days, but I believe we should be seeing structure above the ground now.
I think that's next week.
Next week.
They said that the wall panels will be delivered, and the only thing I'll say, and I've mentioned this to the mayor, it's the week of the 18th. It may not happen on the 18th.
Right.
So sometime that week.
If-
You'll see cranes, and they got to stabilize the cranes, so
Yeah, and there'll be two cranes doing the work or the crane will be set to two different
I
sets.
think it's 3 different spots,
Yeah.
but one crane, 3 different spots, my understanding,
Right.
unless I heard wrong. So
If you look now, you'll actually see like a steel
Mm-hmm.
structure, posts and a steel beam, and those are support beams for the roof panels. So we're finally seeing progress. There's been a lot of work that's been going on subgrade, an immense amount of work. And I believe it probably shows up on the drone flights. So I know that Alex has been doing a lot of that update, and but there's a ton of work in progress. The majority of the below grade work now is complete, and the big pool was cast and stuff. So it's pretty impressive.
Good.
Good progress. That's all I have.
Amanda?
Yes, the library board did not meet for August, and community services, the fall brochures should be online or in your mailbox on August 22nd or around there, and registration opens up on August 27th.
I have nothing to report.
And the Southwest Regional Development Commission does not meet in August. John?
Public Housing met yesterday. Nothing really to report from that meeting.
And C?
None of my commissions met.
Then we'll move to council member individual items. C, we'll start on your
I
side.
don't have anything.
John?
Nothing.
Craig?
Soapbox again, quick. One thing that I've seen in the community a lot, and it concerns me, especially like where we live on the sidewalk, where the property right adjacent to our walk out from the front of the house, there's a hedge that's close to the sidewalk, and there is a lot of the electric scooters riding on the sidewalks, and there's been twice that my wife's almost been creamed coming out, and these aren't just children, these are adults riding the scooters down the sidewalks, and they're going about 25 or 30 miles an hour, and it's not good. So people, and a lot of young children riding the scooters, I believe the ordinance is 14. I'm not positive of that, or maybe 12, but I think there's an age on the scooters, 12. And the other thing is, parents, if you're letting your kids ride, and those things are so cool. I mean, as a kid, I'd want to have two of them, one for each foot, because I don't balance very good. Put a helmet on them. Those things are fast.
Yeah.
Put helmets on. These kids are riding with no elbow pads, no gloves, no palm protection, nothing. And no helmets. I mean, seriously. Get these things covered. I'm just dread a bad accident. And I've seen a lot of them, they're not obeying the stop sign. They're blazing through the streets, and it's just dangerous. And I just dread the news report that we have that there's been some serious or fatal injury for these kids tearing around on the scooters. Just try to talk to your children and manage it a little bit. And adults, if you're doing that, shame on you. That's it. It's my box. Thanks.
Thank you, Craig. Amanda?
I have nothing.
And Amanda?
I do not have anything.
I just have a quick comment. National Night Out was very successful this past week. I think there was approximately 3,000 people that attended. So many thanks to the staff that really put a lot of planning into it, as well as our park staff that made the venue really look nice. So this was also really the first public event at the new pavilion at Independence Park, and that really turned out nice. So, and then I believe the bathrooms should be open perhaps later this month.
Yeah, our contractor is also working on a large private development in the city, so we're hoping we're still on track, but
Very good.
that'd be the only delay, is just kind of waiting on our contractor, so.
Very good. So then we'll move then to our staff reports. Sharon?
Yeah, I don't want to be too long here, but I've got a number of things, and I'll be brief. We do have a survey out right now on our parks. We did post that on social media, and you'll see some signs at our local parks. This is part of our master park planning. They were also at National Night Out. Way to get input. We'll have some focus groups. And hopefully, again, our goal is to have a document where we have it all in one place on planning that's been done for our parks, future planning, and also the costs associated with that. We did get word from Minnesota Historical Society on our grant application process. As you remember, Representative Sodinsky was critical in helping us get named in special legislation. Dames also supported that as well. So we'll go through that process and hopefully get funding in 26 or 27. The mobile home park litigation, if you remember, the city of Marshall, through our city attorney, worked on contending two issues with the mobile home park, the gate being closed, and also local ordinances in their application. And the park owner did actually do a counterclaim against the city. We turned that over to LMCIT, and we are now getting representation from them. The last I heard, it's going to take the rest of the year for discovery, just collecting information and going through some different interviews. So I just wanted to update you on that. And then I do want to comment a little bit on the flood of July 18th. We did meet on July 22nd, but we didn't really have a discussion. So we had just over 350 residents or homes submit notice, or they filled out the Google form to kind of let us know that they had damage. even though we don't think there'll be public assistance available through the state or federal government for those particular residences, because we're not going to meet the threshold of damage, public threshold of damage. It was good to have that listing. We had our volunteer group that Lyon County contacted actually make contact with those residences on whether or not they needed help. Most of them did not. However, there are some residents that are still recovering, waiting on insurance, and might need financial help. United Way actually set up a special disaster fund, but they've had some requests for help. They're kind of at the point where they need funds in that particular fund. So that's something that they're somewhat struggling with. And I just want to add on that, and I know that you got to experience some of this either through meetings. I know Councilmember Schroeder and Councilmember Lazinski volunteered at the transfer station site, helping residents unload flood-damaged items. We had really great participation and cooperation with Lyon County. We, as staff, kind of have a good working relationship with Lyon County day in and day out, and it's always been that case. But the public may not see that. So these particular events really kind of bring it in the forefront. And the county board and staff have been really, really helpful. So we're still working through a little bit of our own damage, our cost, our time. I know the county is, townships are. So we might get some reimbursements. Unfortunately, for the private side, it's going to be more challenging. So hopefully, if we can get United Way, other resources. Again, I know Red Cross had cleaning kits, which weren't highly sought out, but we at least made contact to determine what other needs there might be. So lots of weather events in the state of Minnesota, and I know local or the state emergency management division has been really, really busy. So I just wanted to give an update on some follow-up on that particular event. And that's all I had, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. Any questions or input for Sharon? Jason?
Thank you, Mayor. Picking up at the airport where Councilman Schaefer started us, the ILS project is probably 80% complete through the last pay request. They are on track to be done with that project by the end of the month, which is the schedule. So that's looking good. Airport Commission did move their meeting date from the first Tuesday of the month to the first Monday, starting effective in October. So that's just a small change in schedule time of event. The SRE building open house and ribbon cutting is scheduled for August 21st over Sounds of Summer weekend. So if you're able to come for that, ribbon cutting's at 12:30 and the tour is at 1. The fuel system was awarded a grant by MnDOT, or we've been offered a grant, about $1.2 million total project cost. We need to respond to them by the end of August with our intent to take the grant, and then we have until the end of November to execute an actual grant application. So by the end of August, it's just kind of a soft commitment, and I plan to just make that statement from a staff level, knowing that should the council decide not to go forward during budget time, we're not committed until we make a full grant application. So it's a good first step, though. Project-wise, the fencing at the culvert crossing at 4th and Marshall is complete, and I think it looks pretty nice, so you can take a look at that. The old chain link fence replaced with some nicer black fencing, and some sidewalk repairs were completed by the street department. Minnesota Hill Charles project, concrete work continues over there, and that's nearing completion. The alleys have been paved, and they look very nice, so if you haven't seen those, take a look at those. College Drive, concrete work continues in stage 2 from Main Street to Greeley. Hopefully by the end of the week, that's starting to look pretty well completed. Utility work is occurring down by the roundabout. I know the contractor's been working on quite a bit of storm sewer work down there, some a lot of pipe and a lot of big pipe, so it takes a little bit of time. They've also got water and sewer services to install down there yet before they can start concrete work in that phase. So that project is progressing. And then you've probably noticed a traffic shift on Main Street by A Street. That's a lane shift in preparation for our AT grant project where the contractor will put in bump outs and an RRFB pedestrian crossing there. So hopefully we see work beginning there at the end of this week or early next week. Other than that, I'm here for any questions.
Questions for Jason? Okay. EJ, did you have something?
I just want to give a reminder that we have a budget work session on the 26th at 3 p.m., so before the next council meeting.
Okay, thank you. From the city attorney's office, Makaya, you have any input you want to give tonight?
No updates from the city attorney's office tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll move then to the remaining items on our agenda, which are information items, and they include our administrative brief, our report of cash and investments, the listing of building permits, and the listing of upcoming meetings. Is there anything further to come up at this meeting this evening? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Amanda, seconded by Seed to adjourn. Discussion on that motion? If not, we'll move to a vote. We'll close the voting. And the motion does pass. We are adjourned.